Okay, so we have these people on. I'll just text out to the rest of the group in case they're not there, and in case everyone forgot. But anyway, we
were happy to have time with it. That's okay. Thanks for the 10 people who are.
Thank you guys so much for coming on, really.
Oh, our pleasure. This is a really good thing at this time during quarantine. I'm really missing seeing other faces and seeing people get together, if only virtually.
Exactly. No, it's like, exactly. Even like seeing people on screen, you're like, people.
Exactly. Can I virtually? Hi, everyone. I miss giving hugs.
I take walks just to see people. Like, not even to like, say hi. I just like, oh, human being.
Well, it's funny. I've noticed when we're out on runs or bike rides, a lot of people don't always wave, but lately everybody's like, hi. Even if, I mean, you're on opposite sides of the road, but it seems like everybody's just extra excited to see other people.
But it's the best when you're walking or running and someone like runs away from you.
Yeah, it's true. I had a lady the other day that I passed, and she literally went in and like stood in the trees and just faced the other direction while I ran by behind her. And I was like, this is odd.
You can't blame anybody, but then you're also like just instinctively you want to like I don't know, like when I see friends, I'm like, oh hey, and I go in for a hug, and I'm like, oh wait.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I did that with somebody the other day, and anyway, it's funny. But yes, the government here just passed a law that we can't get together with. So before there's no new gatherings of more than one new person, and now it can't even be like more than 2 people together at one time.
Wow. So you guys with your dogs need to.
We've at least been seeing our neighbors and things, but today's the last day that we'll get to see them.
Yeah, it's
been self-quarantining with them, but now no longer.
It's a challenge for everyone, you know, especially the kids in our program and the High Lifeline kids. They're like, you know, with all the other diagnoses they have, they like don't like, they take it so seriously. They don't leave. They like everything that's brought in, they spray. It's like very scary for these kids who have like immune things and such. So
exactly.
Go Pace. Anyway, yeah, like also in Israel, like with like Ninja, they postponed it. Like everything like has been postponed.
Oh, wow.
And he qualified for Ninja
in Israel.
No.
So it's gonna be fun. Okay, let's start the interview, because I really feel you guys are gonna like inspire so many people. First of all, there is a tiny delay, just so you know, from my end. Is it on you guys? Is it from you or no?
We're not sure. Our Wi-Fi's been really quite poor lately since there's so many people on the system. So I don't know what end it's on, but
we'll deal with it.
Okay. We'll just, I mean, it's fine on our end. There's no delay here, but
Ask questions. Them to ask questions. Guys, oh, sorry. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So I'm saying your interview will be so inspiring to so many people, specifically these kids, because what you guys do, I mean, you've inspired me, and you know, especially in like the religious community, a lot of times sports is not often looked upon in the Jewish Orthodox community. Right. So much so that my dad even made a joke when my brother came in and said, I want to play for the New England Patriots. He said, you're not going to play for the Patriots. You're going to own the Patriots. Like that's the mindset. It's not discouraged, but athletics is a very important thing in life. And so, you know, I want to, so we're taking the program that I'm doing is we're taking these kids with physical challenges incredible stories. You know, we have a 4-year-old who had a brain bleed and lost the left side of his body, left side of his body, and just started learning how to walk. And then we got him over a 10-foot wall in a Spartan gym and just burst into a smile like you've never seen.
That's incredible.
Cool.
So,
What a goal.
what?
Just what an incredible experience.
It's amazing. Like when you see these kids do this stuff, and when you see it on Spartan Race, it's like you just, you know, yourself, like, you know, it's just, you're so moved. So, anyway, so I guess the first question I'd ask is, you know, we have these kids and parents that go through obstacles on a daily basis. The simple question, or deep, and we'll go right into it, is what has been your biggest obstacle in your life, and how have you overcome it?
Oh gosh. I mean, it's hard to compare things like that because I feel like everything that we've experienced just wouldn't even like match up to the things that these kids and families have gone through. So I feel like anything that I'm going to say compared to them is going to just sound really kind of lame. But I don't know. When I was in high school, I went through a lot of depression, and so that was a big thing for me to just overcome, like find my life again. And I actually did a lot of sports when I was young, and then I took time away from them to figure out if it was something that I wanted to do or something that I just had done and was used to doing. And I think once I got back into sports and started doing them again, that like massively contributed to finding my happiness again. And now here I am today. I would say, yeah, that was probably one of the toughest.
So, no, I'm saying, so depression is, I'm a psychotherapist, so depression is everyone goes through it, especially, I'm saying it's a very relatable thing, especially, you know, for anyone, especially when you feel stuck. You know, it's one of the many things these kids battle because, you know, they, you know, a lot of times you do feel stuck and you have to overcome that. So you're saying one of the things for you was just sports and that helped you open that avenue to dealing with that or whatnot.
Yeah, it just sort of gave me I guess it was like my way of finding a happy escape from everything. But previously, when I started going through my depression, it sort of put a lot of pressure on me because I was enrolled in all these competitive sports, but I hadn't actually decided for myself whether or not I wanted to actually do them or not. And the other thing was that I raced with my sister. I have an older sister, and she actually ended up going to the Olympics twice for cross country skiing. And so at the time, her and I were sort of competing together. We were very much neck and neck, and never caused any animosity between the two of us. But as she started training harder, I'd get pressure from coaches to also train harder, and a lot of comparisons from people and our coaches and racers saying, like, they would call me Brittany's little sister. It's like I didn't even have my own name, Lindsay. Like nobody would call me Lindsay. Yeah, it just sort of became really tough, and she was extremely supportive through it. But I think that's part of the reason I needed to like get away from sports for a bit and figure out, you know, if I actually enjoyed them or not. But yeah, so it was kind of funny that sports were also like the thing that helped me find my happiness again. Yeah.
It's such a good point because we all lose a lot of times that identity. If it's not in your sister, you know what I'm saying? If it's not someone, it's somebody else, it's something else. Someone's always doing something better. Someone's always, you know, cooler than me or whatever. And so it's such an important lesson that you have to eventually, you know, come back to yourself and say, what makes me happy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think for myself, my biggest obstacle is just learning to believe in myself. I don't know what happened to the light there, but
it keeps going on.
when I started doing endurance sports, I didn't really have any background in them, and I didn't really have a good body type for it, and a lot of people just thought that I, you know, would never like make it or never really, you know, be successful or be a good athlete, and I had to deal with a lot of that kind of from other people, and so I just, yeah, I mean, that was my obstacle. I had to kind of like stick with it and believe in myself and just stay consistent and stay positive throughout these years. And so, yeah.
So the next question comes off of that, believing in yourself and learning that skill, because both of you do these incredible athletic feats that the normal person would look at and just be blown away. For example, so the question is, how do you guys, when your mind gets to that point that it's just impossible? For example, I don't understand it, Ryan, specifically that you're on hour 17, 60 miles in Sweden, freezing cold. I can't wrap my mind around it. What happens in that moment where the natural response, and we all have this, where we want to give up in our lives, where you just say whatever you do to just continue on, when you literally, your body's fatigued and your mind is literally, telling you to continue when you need to quit, basically, because it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in moments like that, I just try to first of all, I think of the fact that how fortunate I am to be able to do these things, and that like I've chosen to do them. Like, no one's held a gun to my head and said, you have to do this. It was a choice that I made. And then I think of, how fortunate I am to be able to have those experiences. And then I just kind of try to find positives, even if like my legs are really hurting. I, look at the sunrise and be, really grateful for that. Or I might look at like a fun obstacle that I just did and be really psyched about that instead of, and I find if I kind of really keep focusing on the little positive things, that like the massive, negative things or the massive things that are really hard or really painful, I just kind of don't give those any light of day or any energy in the moment.
It's such incredible advice because, especially now in quarantine, right, we're just so used to going to the negatives.
Right.
And when you look around and when your brain is trying to influence that and you just start doing the little positives, it all builds up. So it really is amazing advice. Before I ask Lindsay, what's your key to overcoming? Is possibly for the lighting, can you guys close the drapes behind you or no?
I was actually thinking about doing that, but
I mean, it's beautiful outside. It's gorgeous, but.
Close them all. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
There you go.
hopefully this helps. It might still be a little bright.
I think that helps.
If not, we can just switch directions.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, we can switch directions too if it's still if the camera's still being funny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still kind of being funny, isn't it? Well, we'll see how it goes. But
Better.
I think for me, with kind of like finding belief in myself, Ryan was extremely instrumental in that. When I met him, we met at a mountain bike race actually, but when we met, like my long run was an hour, and it took years and years to sort of build up not only the abilities but the confidence levels to be able to run 4 hours and then enter races that were that long too. And when it came to racing, especially when I decided to be a professional athlete, I had a full-time job with a salary, and it's not something that ever crossed my mind to quit my day job and pursue being a professional athlete. But it was actually Ryan who believed in me so strongly and kept telling me, like, I think you could win this race if you entered. And then I would go, and I trained really hard for it, and I would win it. But like without him, I never would have done any of that. So I think everybody out there, has somebody who's their sounding board and their support system, and use it, because for me, yeah, that's Ryan, and he's still sort of my sounding board. When I'm nervous before races, I talk to him about it, and sort of helps build my confidence levels. And I think sometimes you get a little tired of doing it because I'm like, I don't know if I'll do very good. And he's always sort of talking me about that. But yeah, use those people around you. They're important.
We talk a lot about, the people around your team is the one that usually pushes you through.
Yeah.
So what would be like the one word or like mantra, or do you talk to yourself or have a dialogue when things are going wrong? For example, when you roll your ankle in the biggest race of the season and it's freezing cold and it's gnarly, like what do you have like a go-to concept to keep yourself composed? Because it's very easy to lose it all right there.
Yeah, I mean, we always have a plan, but things don't always go according to our plan. I think there's a bigger plan that's in play there. And I always tell myself my mantra is sort of just to do the best that I have on that day. Some days you might have trained really hard for this race or this practice really hard for this thing in life, and it doesn't go according to your plan, or you feel terrible that day, you're just not on your game. But I think all we can do is give the best that we have on any given day, and so that's sort of my mantra. Like, especially when it comes to racing, my job isn't to win, it's just to go and do my best.
Right.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it's also like not really a word, but like if something goes wrong, I just like throw that away because it's in the past and there's nothing I can do right now to like go back in time and make a different decision. And then going forwards, I just try to control what I can to the best ability that I can. And so like I figure if I do that, then there's nothing that can really come at me that I can't at least get through. And
so a question would be then for people who, Lindsay, I've seen your post about talking about like balance and eating. Like you want to have the same diet that you have, now than when you're at 80. So for people, and it's a brilliant thing because people go to such extremes. We go, want to get motivated for 4 days, New Year's resolution, and then, 3 days later after that, you're done. So the question to both you guys, you're like the top athletes, right? I mean, honestly, the craziest endurance sports out there, in my opinion, at least. So what would you guys suggest to people that are just starting this journey, our kids or volunteers that are just starting a Spartan race, that want a healthy lifestyle, that don't want to go so extreme? What do you suggest just getting into that groove of not losing that motivation?
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I always try to do things sustainably and in a way that keep me happy. Like, so you brought up diet, and for me, like, I still eat dessert every night because I love baking. I love cookies and brownies, but I'm not gonna go bake them and eat like the whole tray. But there's a lot of athletes out there who won't even let themselves eat that stuff, but I would go stir crazy if I didn't. And so for me, it's a balance. Like I'll have, 2 cookies and that makes me really happy. And I think it's sustainable. I still eat lots of healthy, wholesome meals with lots of fruits and veggies. I think it comes the same with training. Like you don't want to tire yourself out every day, or if there's a day that you're really not feeling it, you're really tired that day, then just don't feel like it's necessary to do that workout that you had planned that day. Maybe move that to a different day when you feel like a little more, and then think, what would I actually like to do today? What would make me happy to do, and just go do that instead. For me, a lot of the time, it's like, oh, I don't want to go do a really hard workout today. I just want to go run for half an hour in the woods. And so I'll do that instead. And that keeps me going. It keeps me happy, and it's sustainable.
Right. I think the biggest like key to like long-term performance and happiness and things like that are like sustainability and consistency. So like Lindsay was saying, yeah, like a lot of people, and like you were saying, a lot of people will come up, oh, do this 4-day, crazy diet where I, eat like this, eat like that, or I do this workout plan where it's, 1,000 miles a week and this and that. But like, if you can't do the same thing in like a sustainable way for, the next 20 years of your life, then it's probably too much. And like, you can increase things gradually, but to go out and do all these crazy epic workouts like day after day after day is just, you just, at a certain point, you're just going to fry yourself out.
Yeah, and you want it to be a lifestyle, like incorporated into your lifestyle.
Right, and like, again, you guys are like the top, like for us, average people, right? We have this image that the top athletes are working out 15 hours a day and, not eating anything and whatever. And the message is, no, you have to, it's about being happy, not going to an extreme and killing yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
My next question is a fun one and a very, it comes from when I spoke with it's more to Lindsay. when I spoke with a guy, he was tennis on like the back end of the tour, not even on the tennis tour, right? One of these like minor league tours or whatever. And we were talking about Serena Williams, and he goes without reacting, goes, I could beat her easily. I could destroy her. And it speaks to, and so the question is, and remember the big brouhaha or the big scandal when like the average, open male was saying that, why can't I run in the women's race? I could beat, anyone. And then I think Ryan posted something and I was like, yeah, go up against my wife and find out how it really panned out. And for example, I think you beat me by like 10 minutes, by the way, in Jacksonville.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there is a stigma. There's a huge stigma against women, against, girls. Specifically, it stops a lot of girls from even trying sports because they're not supposed to, play sports and guys we have it, that concept that you shouldn't be the top, and then I could, beat women. What's your, response to that? What do you do to deal with that? Have you ever had anybody say anything nasty or anything like that? How do you react and deal with that stigma? And then what would be your suggestion to girls that does stop them and what they can do to just even try a sport and do what they love?
Right. I mean, it's kind of like how we were talking about confidence earlier, and sort of finding your confidence. I mean, I think the first step is just to go out and try it. I've been lucky enough not to experience a lot of that stigma before. At least not, I'm sure it's out there, but at least not directly towards me. Also, keep in mind that bullies love to hide behind their keyboards, especially like this day. Like, I dare those people to actually come and say something to your face. A lot of the times when people say stuff like that too, I think it sort of stems from something that they're experiencing inside. Maybe it's actually that they have low confidence levels or something, and that sort of, putting someone else down to make themselves feel better is sort of what they need to do to keep themselves up. But I think it's just so important to always be like the strongest people that we can be, and also to sort of be understanding in those scenarios of why somebody else might say things to you like that and what it is that they might be going through. That, instead of letting it really get you down, just think about, why they might have said something like that, because maybe there's a deeper reason behind it. Yeah, and I think the first step is always just to go out and try your hardest. So, like, don't let it stop you from trying to race. And if it's something that you enjoy doing, then be your strongest self.
That is awesome advice. That is a beautiful concept, and it is. It's a bullying concept, and honestly, bullies are do terrible damage. And if we can get people to stop thinking, to get caught up in that, we can do a lot of good. To not just react to them.
Yeah, it's so true.
Okay, I have a fun thing for both of you. We're gonna do, when I interviewed sports celebrities when I was younger, and we would ask them kid questions. So your favorite, I'm gonna rapid fire your favorite stuff.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your head. Do you guys want to go one after the other, or do you want to guess who the other one is?
Yeah, we'll just go whoever thinks of it first.
Okay, here we go. Ice cream flavor.
peanut butter. I love ice cream.
Oh man, any chocolate, any flavor. Oh, good.
By the way, I can tell you really love ice cream. That was very excited. You got very excited.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite dessert.
Movie.
Ooh, there's so many good ones out there.
I'd say Star Wars.
I think the
Like,
whole
any of them, like the whole series.
Don't say the new ones.
I mean, I think just the whole like universe is awesome.
I don't know. A lot of the Disney classics, or the Pixar movies, like I could just watch the Pixar movies again and again and again. Favorite one, maybe Finding Nemo or Up. Up has a really good story.
Finding Nemo is one of my top 5 movies of all time. But you guys are probably a Disney Plus family then.
Yeah. Actually, Finding Dory is on my Disney Plus list of movies to watch right now. So rewatch because I've actually already seen it.
Next one's toy as a kid.
Stuffed animals. Actually, you'll meet one of them today.
Lego. I love Lego.
Except when you step on one. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Red.
Animal. Favorite animal?
Cat.
Buffalo.
Don't you have dogs?
We both love dogs too. I dog and cat.
Yeah, why don't you say cat?
I don't know.
Are you allowed to be a cat and dog person?
So I don't know. If someone told me to like pick one of the other.
Is it supposed to be like one or the other?
I just like all animals. Wolves are really cool. Wolves are really cool. And when I was little, my favorite animal was seals. I don't know why.
Was what?
Was seals.
Seals?
Yeah, I don't know why I love seals so much. When I was little, I had an obsession with seals.
I mean, they're kind of like happy. They look happy,
Yeah.
you know?
They're funny little girls, and when they're born, they're like super fluffy and cute.
Have you ever seen like a depressed seal?
Oh,
Yes, look.
playful.
Favorite food?
Ooh.
I would say pizza.
Like spaghetti and meatballs. I think that's my comfort food. Just like that all. I love spaghetti and meatballs.
I've never heard spaghetti and meatballs as a favorite food.
Like sushi would be my other favorite food.
Sushi's good.
But if I had to pick one food that I only got to eat that one food for like the rest of my life, it would probably be like, yeah, spaghetti and meatballs. Although I'd really miss vegetables.
Favorite, this is kind of philosophy, favorite leader in history? Or now?
Tough one. I mean, there's been so many. How do you choose? Maybe like Nelson Mandela. He's done some cool stuff. Gandhi, you know, your typical ones. But there's been a lot of really cool outdoor leaders.
Yeah, I'm like Gandhi.
Who?
Gandhi.
Gandhi, yeah. So I read Gandhi's about his book that he wrote, and I would suggest reading it. It's amazing. I could not get through Mandela's book.
No? Okay. Huh.
I'm not putting anything down. It was just like I tried. They're both really long, but Gandhi's amazing. You should read his book because it's just. He literally just pours out all of his wisdom into this book, and it's really a life-changing book. It gives you a lot of perspective.
Yeah, I feel like I would enjoy that. And I know Mandela could be like pretty aggressive with his speeches sometimes, so I think that can maybe be a challenging book to get through.
It's challenge. It's challenge. I think what I liked about the Gandhi thing more than the Mandela book is that Gandhi was so real. You read it, like he talks about like his mistakes he made and what he could have done better, and like you know, people, you think of him as the most perfect person, and he just, in this book, kind of just shows you that he's a human being. And I thought that was really a cool perspective, you know?
The amount of self-reflection that man probably did.
Okay, the last two questions are favorite actor and athlete.
My favorite actress is Emma Watson. She's been a favorite of mine since I was little. And I just think it's really cool because she was actually like a childhood actress, but now that she's older, she's just very involved with environmental and feminism campaigns, and she's really like an activist, which I think is really cool because a lot of childhood actors you see kind of grow up and go in a bad direction, but I think it's really cool that you know, she went to university and she's just strived to be like a normal person still, and then she's using her game, I guess, just to do a lot of good in the world.
That's true.
And what was the second question? Favorite athlete. Ooh, I don't know. My sister.
Awesome.
For myself, favorite actor, I don't know. I don't like, I have no idea. I mean, I like some actors, but like, they're actors, so like they're acting. So like the reason I would like them would be like Lindsay was saying, like with Emma Watson, like it's reasons outside their acting, and so.
Yeah, she's actually not a very good actor.
Yeah, so I don't know with that one. But I think for my favorite athlete, I might say John Alvin. And I've gotten to race with him a lot. And so like I know him personally, and like he's just like a down to earth good guy and like an awesome athlete. So.
What do you like about him that's different from other athletes that you've met?
He just like he loves competing and he loves being the best version of himself, and he doesn't pander to like sponsors that he doesn't like believe in, and he doesn't like promote products that he doesn't use and things like that. And he just he would rather just like do his best in a race and, you know, promote something that he truly believes in instead of just take a paycheck from a company that, you know, he doesn't use and believe and stand behind the product, which I think a lot of people, especially in OCR, there's a few who come to mind who will just do anything for $1, and that just kind of doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
That's an amazing point also, just in the sense of like, you know, with any success, it can go straight to your head. And if you're not a real person, you lose a sense of who you are, you know, from what we were talking about. Like, you know, you beat, you know, I think it's just such a good message. You beat all the, you know, what everyone else puts on you when you just, you know, be yourself and do what you want, you know, out of love and not pressure or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have apparently a fun and exciting workout for all of us to try.
Okay, so first and foremost, I have somebody. This is Bart. He's our stuffed fox, and he's going to be participating in our workout exercise. So this is a partner's workout.
Yeah, so if anybody can grab their favorite stuffy, or maybe if you don't have one nearby, just a pillow over.
Yeah, a pillow. So a lot of the exercises are actually supposed to be done with a medicine ball, which is basically like a 10-pound kind of weight. But for these purposes, we're going to use Bart instead because he's a lot more fun than medicine ball. And so, yeah, so these are partners exercises. So for anybody who's watching or wants to participate, find a partner, your parent, your brother, your sister, and we're going to walk you guys through one set of these exercises, and you can do anywhere from 2 to 4 sets of them, or as many as you want. We tried to make them a lot of fun, but yeah, it was kind of like more fun group activity. Ryan's moving our camera a little bit here.
There we go.
The exercises. Okay, so first one, we don't need Bart yet, so he's going to sit both sides right here. So our first exercise is one person's going to lay down on their back, and the other person's going to stand behind them. Cool. So this is a core exercise. So hold onto the back of Ryan's ankle here. Put my feet up, and he's gonna push them down towards the floor.
I'm gonna throw these down.
And I have to bring them
She
back
has to
up.
bring her feet back up.
And you can throw them any old direction that you want, but you never know which way you're gonna go. And so Ryan and I normally do about 20, but I think you guys can do anywhere between 10 and 20 of them. Yes. So our next exercise.
So do 10 of those.
Yeah, I think about 10 of those. So our next exercise, Bart's gonna join us for. You're gonna go back to back with your partner and do a squat. You're just gonna hold it there while you pass your Bart around in a circle. And we're gonna do 10 circles. My legs are starting to hurt. Switch directions.
All right.
Okay, so the next one, Bart gets to go flying. So Ryan and I are gonna get in a sit-up position. So we're gonna put our feet like toe to toe, and we're gonna do sit-ups. I'll give enough space there. Okay, good. Then Bart's gonna go flying through the air. We're gonna get passed back and forth between us. So you guys can do about 10 of these.
All right. He's loving it.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm just gonna check my list here. I have a little list that I made, but it's on my computer. So, oh, this one's fun. Okay. Okay. So the next one, again, Bart can sit on the sidelines for this one. This one's kind of hard, but it's also fun. You get to do the wheelbarrow. So Ryan's gonna grab my feet here. And he's gonna do a squat while I do push-ups. It's pretty hard. If you guys have trouble with that, then you can always just do wheelbarrow walks and take turns doing this. So. That's a hard one.
And then you can switch.
Yeah. I think there's only 6 exercises. That gets us through 5 of them. Oh, maybe there's 7. Okay, well, maybe we done. I think that was number 5. The next one's push-up high fives. So you and your partner are gonna get into a push-up position.
Plank.
Plank position. And we're gonna high five each other. So it's not actually a push-up, it's a plank high five. And see how many high fives you guys can get. Maybe have a contest. Challenge if you have a brother or a sister, you can like challenge your parents to it too, and then see who can get more.
And then the last one was side plank.
The last one, oh yeah, this one was interesting. So the last one is side planks. This one's challenging. Some people might have trouble with it. But so we're gonna do a side plank back to back. What we're gonna do is you high five each other at the top, and then you go underneath and high five each other at the bottom. It's really hard to keep your balance for this. It's also a really good core exercise. But we had one more. It was the lunges. Yeah. This one's a little bit confusing.
It's a little confusing, so just kind of,
So
if you don't get it exactly right, it's all good.
one person does a forward lunge, which is this, while the other person does backward lunge.
Then you come up to the
And then
middle.
you come up to the middle, and then you go back the other direction. And Bart gets to pass back and forth. But yeah, it's kind of confusing. So I'm doing the same leg right now, so then you can.
And then you can switch to the other leg.
I think it helps me with Bart to keep track of when I'm lunging because it does get a little.
And if you have more space, you have a bit more space, you can even space out and throw your
Throw your stuffy.
back and forth.
So thanks, Bart, for helping us.
I love Bart.
Bart's really funny. I like how big and fun. It doesn't work regularly. Actually,
Yeah.
this is probably the first one.
That might be his first workout.
He's gotta lose the pounds.
Yeah, look at that butt.
Look at that.
He mostly just sleeps all day and gets snuggled. Really, his job is just to be as snuggly as possible. Doing workouts for him is not really like
Nice thing. That was absolutely awesome.
well,
That was amazing. No, it'll be great. So if anyone can do that with their parents, their sister, whoever, and that's like, we're all going stir crazy in quarantine. That's like the best thing ever.
Yeah. Just take like 10 to 20 minutes, get some activity.
Get your heart rate up a bit.
Yeah.
And if you have anything cuter than Bart, then it's even perfect.
Guys, feel free to send Ryan and I like pictures of what you use for the stuff. Get creative. I want to see what you guys come up with.
I really do want to thank you guys really so much, because it speaks to who you guys are, to honestly, like I saw you in London and I was like, oh, I have this thing, and you're just like, yes, I have to be able to, you know, help or whatever.
Well, I hope someday I get to meet some of you guys.
What?
I said I hope someday I get to meet some of you guys in person.
That'd be amazing. I hope eventually we'll have to make it. We'll get it together. We'll connect it, make it work. But again, thank you so much, because you know, it is very trying times for everyone, and to put a smile on even one person's face at this point is like all we can do. So I really, really appreciate it, guys.
Well, thank you.
You guys stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive.
Love it. Oh, does anyone have any questions? No one wrote anything, but I don't know if they did. Anyway, okay. All right, people are saying thanks. Okay, take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
All right. See you, everyone.